Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. It is Jesus Reads, and for this week's video, I am doing 27 books for 27 years. I turned 27 on May 27th, and I feel like that's not coincidental, that this happened for a reason. Very spiritual, if you ask me, and very much with intent. And so I wanted to do 27 books that changed my life and mean so much to me, and I hope you enjoy the books that I tell you. The first 5 books of these are the books that shaped my childhood and turned me into the diva that you see here today. And I wanted to make this with intent. So the first book on here is Diary of a Wimpy Kid. Listen, if you live under a rock or don't know what the Diary of a Wimpy Kid series is, it is a still ongoing children's book that follows a 12-year-old named Greg Heffley as he navigates being a middle schooler and navigating all these friendships and dramas. And one of the most infamous things is at his school is like the cheese touch and like running around. And I remember after like Diary of a Kid blew up, I have my own rendition of the paperback versions. And I remember in recess, we would play and do the cheese touch game because it was that monumental. Like it was everywhere in different places. And also navigating his life and his friendships with Raleigh, having beef with his older brother Roderick, which, you know, I think I had a crush on him when I was younger reading these books. I was like, there's something about Roderick and his little annoying brother named Manny, as well as his parents who he saw as like cringy, even like they were in love and doing cringy things and trying to be seen as cool to their 3 sons. I really resonated with that, having 2 other siblings, one being older and one being younger, and having that dynamic be in books and reading about it. And also Diary of a Kid has such an important place in my heart. It is the main book that helped me with my reading and helped me improving with my English, since I did not know how to speak English well when I was younger, and I was in ESL and English for Arts Enrichment, and also speech. Shout out if you're in speech, put the comments down below. I see you. Hey, speech. And so Diary of a Kid really did help me, like literally have my vocabulary, improve my English vocabulary, because I was not good at it in elementary school meetings. So Diary of a Kid has a special place in heart because one of the iconic series, but also helping me learn English. The second book is Dork Diaries. It follows a 14-year-old girl navigating middle school called Nikki Maxwell, friendship, heartbreaks, having beef with that one girl, if you know, you know, and her just writing in her journal, in her diary, and talking about her day, which literally started me being as a writer and journaling and documenting my life. Because Nikki Maxwell, she wrote everything. When she had beef, oh, and when she had a crush on Brandon, yeah. She wrote it down. Also, her 2 best friends who were always by her side, even though sometimes she did mess up. Dork Diaries was such a good book for me because along with Diary of a Kid, it also helped me prepare for like middle school. I went to middle school in 2011 in 6th grade. Okay, so like it was kind of similar. It was still kind of messy. No electronics, no iPhones still, like iPhone 3 or 4, but it was still messy. So I still hold these 2 books as like my lifeline for middle school. And so I really did enjoy reading these 2 books. The 4th book is Junie B. Jones. One thing about Miss Junie B. Jones is she was rambunctious. She spoke her mind. She fought. She started in kindergarten, but then she moved up to the 1st grade. But I remember after finishing Diary of a Kids and having to move up a grade level in reading, because I don't know if it's still the same thing if you remember in your childhood, but they used to have like stickers like red, blue, green, and that would show like your advancement in reading. And so I, moved up on my reading, and Junie B. Jones was the next one. It stood out to me because it said Junie B. Jones and the Stupid Stinky Bus. So I read all the Miss Junie B. Jones books, and her having beef and her fighting and her being rambunctious and her speaking her mind. I really did love that because I don't know if you can tell, but as a child, I would be called, the original silver tooth child. Okay, I was bald, I had my missing 2 front teeth, and I installed silver. I was loud, and I was rambunctious. So I felt really seen, and I felt solidarity with Miss Junie B. Jones, and she has literally a special place in my heart. All of these books, again, especially my childhood books, all of them are very special to me. And so I also felt seen because I was a rowdy child, and I really loved seeing that in books and having that displayed. So yes, Junie B. Jones, mwah, I love you. The 4th book is The Winx Club, specifically The Winx Club Comet, because when the book first came, I still have my original. This is my original from my childhood. It's still bent, but I kept these in mint condition. And it also has the trading card still on here. I let nobody touch it. And it literally follows our main character, Bloom. It also had an anime TV show. And she gets transported into this new world and goes to Althea College, where she's navigating being a fairy, the Winx Club, her new friends, her lovers, having beef with the other fairies, the evil ones, all trying to navigate college as like a normal girl, but also discovering that she has magical fairy powers. And I loved this growing up. I really love Winx, it has a special place in my heart. I do want to collect the other 16 issues, but like I can't find any on eBay, only 1 through 5. So we're gonna find them. But again, I really do love Winx, and I also love Flora because representation, especially in the early 2000s, there was no Latinx characters. So having Flora up there, oh, I felt seen. So again, I love Winx Club, and I really do love the comics that were drawn on here and how it's still beautiful to this day. Like, look at how beautiful this is. The fifth book is Captain Underpants. You know, when you were like a kid and then you had to read up a grade level, but you saw Captain Underpants, and so it's like, oh my god, because it was a picture book, so they're kind of like, you can't read that anymore. I still read them, and it follows two best friends as they're navigating elementary school. These two best friends like mind control their evil principal, and he turns into like Captain Underpants. With the help of Captain Underpants, they literally fight the world and fight evil together when he's like under mind control from these two best friends. Like, it is so crazy, it is funny, but I really did love, like, as a child, like flipping back with the flip book page because it was like monumental. Our sixth book is Judy Moody. Judy Moody is a third grader with mood swings who's rambunctious and stands up for herself, hence Judy Moody. If you're seeing a similar pattern, I love characters who are rambunctious, moody, and speak their mind. I love that. So when I saw Judy Moody at the Scholastics Book Fair, I was like, yeah, I'm reading that. It even got to a point where, like, elementary school, it would be taking turns. People would vote for the book. So I brought my copy of Judy Moody, and all the students voted for it. Yeah. So I would come with my book each week and be like, here, professor, and we read Judy Moody for our reading time. So again, Judy Moody is such a just a great fun book. I really did love it. The next 6, I would argue, is like YA, but specifically manga. And starting at number 7, we have Sailor Moon. Reading Sailor Moon and having this source of media as a queer teenager changed my life for the better. It helped me escape my reality on the things I was experiencing at that time by diving into the world of Usagi, an awkward teenager who's navigating friendships, love, and having this new identity as Sailor Moon. And not to mention, this is the literal magical school girl, like the mother of magical school girls. And also, I used to watch it all the time on cable. So again, Sailor Moon, I love you so much. Number 8 is Beastars. Listen, we follow the society of carnivores and herbivores as they navigate like living in those tensions and what it's like to be a wolf at that time. And the synopsis is basically like some goat gets murdered by a carnivore at their school. Legoshi is like, let me investigate what's going on. And it leads them into a path of like fighting, revenge, and unlocking secrets about himself and his identity. And also Legoshi is kind of like, I don't know, like, and I'm not a furry, but like Legoshi makes me giggle. Also, I feel like this is kind of like yaoi. I don't like, you're walking like headcanon, but we'll get into that. But again, I really do love these. These are very old. I do implore everyone to read this because it also has a social critique on our society by using like an herbivore and carnivore society to critique ours. I think that's just so brilliant, but I love this. And also Legoshi, I love you. Number 9 is Demon Slayer. Demon Slayer quite literally changed the manga publishing industry and literally revived and saved it nonetheless. But we follow Tanjiro. He discovers that his whole family is slaughtered by vampire, but not just any vampire, the main vampire. And while he's running away, he knows that his sister is a vampire. And as he's running away, she doesn't attack him. And this leads him to a worldwide adventure of trying to find the main vampire and kill him, but also save his sister. I love this media. I love, as you can see, Nezuko and Rengoku. That's also my man. Number 10 is the summer that Hikaru died. Like, doomed yaoi, if I say so. We follow the main character, Yoshiki, as he navigates the loss and grief of his ex-best friend who died, Hikaru, in the mountains, who disappeared, and one day he returns. But the problem is, he's not Hikaru. He's not the Hikaru that Yoshiki remembers. And in this series, we follow horror and we explore horror as queerness, right? The scariest thing for Yoshiki is not that Hikaru is no longer the same person, but the feeling that he's queer and that he likes Hikaru. That's what scares him in a small village. It's not that his best friend is dead and no longer the same person, but that he's maybe queer in a small rural village in Japan, and that's what scares him the most. And having to confront these feelings that he has for his dead best friend, who he did care for and even love for, and having to grapple with that is so beautiful, and we don't see that in queer media. And I think if you do read this, it is doomed yaoi. I do implore you to read The Summer That Hikaru Died, because my god, it's so beautifully written. There's Hikaru. The next one is Nana, doomed Yuri. We literally follow two 20-year-olds named Nana, Nanosaki and Nanahachi, as they both are at crossroads with their life and both decide to go to Tokyo, and they meet by fate on a train to Tokyo. And this literally changes their lives forever as they grow close to one another, navigate friendship, heartbreak, and loss. I love Nana. Nana changed life, changed Yuri forever. And again, I implore you to read this one, because my god, you're in for a world round. Not even with the two main characters, but their other friends. Oh my god, everyone is just making the bad decisions. It's like a car crash. You can't stop looking, but I do recommend you reading Nana. My god. Starting from number 12 and up will be a mixture of fiction, historical fiction, fantasy, YA, and romance. Number 12 is The Pearl by John Steinbeck. We follow an indigenous man from Nayarit, Mexico, and he finds a pearl. But the problem is, he sees this as escape for poverty for him and his family. And what he doesn't know is that this pearl sings of hymns of an evil trumpet, and he's trying his hardest to ignore that so he can get his family out of poverty, out of being that and how they're treated, and having one day that his son can escape poverty and get a right to education and be seen as a respectable person in Mexico, being indigenous and being from Nayarit. The Pearl is yet heartbreaking and beautiful, and it shows a reality of what poverty does and how capitalism is and how evil it is and how it forces people to do things in the name of surviving, in the name of trying to escape that said poverty. So Pearl by John Steinbeck, you ate that. Number 13, Aristotle and Dante discover the secrets of the universe. As a young queer teenager, reading this was the first glimpse of representation I had for queer Latinx media. We follow Aristotle and Dante at a swimming pool after walking with one another, and their worlds change for the better. This book is so beautiful about identity, about queerness, about brownness, and what it means to be a queer brown Latinx teenager in America. And I just love this. It is traumatic yet beautiful, but they see one another and they listen to one another. And the fact that they're both so vulnerable about their stories and being there, it's so beautiful. I literally love this. I have not seen the movie yet, but I do implore you to read this book. It is such a good book of what boyhood and the concept of boyhood is supposed to be. Like, my god, so good. Number 14 is an autobiography called Butterfly Boy, and we follow the main author as he navigates and documents his life being from Zacapu, Michoacan, Mexico, and being Purepecha, and his grandma being Purepecha, and him migrating to the United States and dealing with his queerness and how he's treated in Mexico and in the United States. And as someone who is queer, and as somebody whose dad is from Zacapu, Michoacan, and as someone who is Purepecha, and as someone whose grandma was also Purepecha, I cried when I read this book in middle school and when I found it. I was going through a lot. And so when I picked up this book, I never felt so seen again. Because that is the power of books, is to see and hear yourselves. Because I thought I was so alone. But when I read this book, that is when I figured that I wasn't alone. And it is such a similar eerie thing what my father went through living in Zacapo, Michoacan and being Purapecha, but also like recounting his story of what queerness is and all the things and all the adversity that he faced in societies, in both societies. And I just think it's such a 6-star read for me. It's one of the 5 books I'll ever recommend. Butterfly Boy. My gosh, I love you and the author. Number 15 is Legendborn. We follow Bree, a 16-year-old who witnesses the death of her mother, and she enrolls in UNC College. There, she unlocks a magical witch society, and she discovers that maybe her mother didn't die just for no reason. Maybe there's something that happened, and maybe she was hiding it for the better. As she unveils these secrets of this magical witch society, she uncovers more about her family history and who she really is. I really do implore you to read this book by Tracy Dion. It is such a good and beautiful book about reclaiming your ancestry, reclaiming who you are, and acknowledging what you and your ancestors went through. I think this book is so beautiful, and I do implore you to read this book. Number 16 is the Ace of Spades. I put this book at 6 stars, so when I went on Goodreads and I saw they were dragging this book, I said, oh. We follow two 16-year-old students named Chiamaka and Devon. They're the only two Black students at their private school, and something happens after they're both enrolled. Their secrets start being exposed. Everything they're trying to keep in the past or keep secrets are being brought to life through a text chain of an anonymous person. And it's kind of like Gossip Girl, but dark academia. Chiamaka and Devon start an alliance to help and unravel this mystery of who this anonymous person is, exposing their secrets. But what they don't know is by unraveling this, they're more in danger. And maybe it's just not one person, but maybe a society and maybe a system. Maybe there's a systemic issue happening at this private school that's happened for decades. And it's up to Devon and Chiamaka to expose this. And I think this is such a great way to critique anti-Blackness, the erasure of history, the erasure of ethnic studies, the erasure of contributions of Black people in America. I think this is such a good book. Number 17 is The Do's and Do Nots of Love. We follow 16-year-old Shireen as she is a junior in high school and gets on her local Irish baking TV show. The problem is, on the first event, the first episode that's being filmed, they're tasked to be into partners. And Shireen gets partnered with none other than her ex-girlfriend who had a horrible breakup. Like, when I read that synopsis, I said, oh, I'm reading this. But this book is such a good book because it talks about like misogyny. It talks about anti-Asian hate in Ireland and how Shireen's navigating her identity being a Bengali woman in Ireland and the commentary and critiques of that, but also like baking and her love to bake. And her number one goal is to win this reality TV show so she can help save her parents' cafe. I really do love this. It is Yuri. I did giggle. I did laugh. There is a twist, and there is like trigger warning racism that the character experiences, and also Shireen's ex-girlfriend, as they both experiencing being South Asian and Southeast Asian in Ireland. So just a trigger warning for that. But there is a twist in this baking show, and they really do have chapters where Shireen's talking about cooking, and there's actually challenges in the book. You know when you read a book and it's like cooking or baking, but it's only like a couple pages? No, this book is literally it. Like, we're literally in Shireen's like point of view as she's doing these challenges and advancing to the next round, her struggling and trying to keep up. Also, she may or may not be going back with her ex-girlfriend, who knows? I really do love this about this book. Number 18 is The Six Crimson Crames by Elizabeth Lim. I really do love this trilogy. We follow 16-year-old Shirori as she's banished from the palace and has a hit for her, and her brothers have been escaping, and she has to find them because they turned into paper cranes by her evil stepmother. Is she really evil, or is she just misunderstood? And I love this book because it talks about topics such as grief and what Shiori has for her original birth mother who she never knew, and her grappling with her stepmother. And it talks about grief and not in like a typical way, but what you can do with grief, and how sometimes grief is beautiful, and sometimes how that grief can bring people together and you can make something beautiful through that grief. I really do love this trilogy as its main themes of grief, but also fantasy, but also love, but also heartbreak and forgiving our parents. I think that's such a beautiful concept to wield together. So I really do love like the Six Crimson Cranes. If you know my other two videos, I talk about Elizabeth Lim. That is mother. She's like the mother of fantasy in my mind. Me tinks. Yes, yes, yes. So yes, Six Crimson Cranes is the first book. The second book is the concluding book is A Dragon's Promise, and the prequel we learn about Shori's evil stepmother, and the prequel about Shori's evil stepmother, Her Radiant's Curse. Mwah, so beautiful. No note. I do implore you to read all three. So good. Number 19 is the Sunbearer's Trials. When I tell you this changed Latinx literature for the good, Aiden Thomas, you fathered. We follow a 17-year-old named Tio, who is the son of Quetzal, the Quetzal bird goddess. Ugh. In Rayon del Sol, every hundreds of years, all the children of goddess or goddesses compete in the Sunbearer's Trials. And during this trial, the loser will be sacrificed for the body to turn into light. So all the evil monsters up in the sky can be locked in. While competing in this tournament, he is trying to make sure that the Jades are respected and worthy of competing, and having the pressure of having all the support of his people and trying to be the representation. Tio uncovers the mysteries of this Sunbearer's Child and what it means to be sacrificed, and if there's another way to stop this from happening. I do implore you to read this book. It is so good. No spoilers. Please read it. Number 20 is Doomed Yaoi. They both die at the end. Two lost souls find each other for the last night of their lives as they live in society where they get a call by this company that owns it, like a conglomerate, and they tell them they're going to die in 24 hours. It happens to everybody. And so these two lost souls go on Instagram, like a version of it, and they find one another. And during those 24 hours, they love, they laugh, they cry, secrets unveil. And the concept of not wanting to die and dying too soon happens. I really do love They Both Die at the End by Adam Silvera. I do love it so much. Like, that is Doomed Yaoi. Number 21, The Lesbiana's Guide to Catholic School. We follow 16-year-old Yamilet, who got exposed by her ex-best friend that she was a lesbian. Like, hello? Because she had a crush on her and her friend did not like that, which is okay. And instead of like taking it and like not talking about it, her ex-friend exposes her and outs her to the entire school. So Yamila has a new mission when she goes into this all-girl Catholic school, that she's going to pretend to be straight. But that all changes when she meets rambunctious Bo. The more she hangs out with Bo, the harder that Yamila is trying to be straight. Like, she's struggling, like she's down bad. Like, she loves Bo down, but she's trying to be straight because she has that trauma. This book talks about like immigration, internalized homophobia, deportation, and what it means to be a young Mexican lesbian woman in America. So I really do love it. It is messy yet heartbreaking yet beautiful, and the love story is really beautiful as well. Like, oh my god. Number 22 is Get a Life, Chloe Brown. Enemies to lovers. Have I ever seen it? We follow Chloe Brown. She's bitter, she's mean, she's rude, but also she has health complications. And she moves and trying to be independent. And one day, she sees a cat in the tree. And you know what Chloe does? She climbs up on that tree to get this poor stray cat out of the tree. But the problem is, because Chloe has health complications, she cannot get down. And none other than her arch nemesis and the repair handyman, Redford, comes to her defense and saves her. But Chloe is not happy about that because she says she can do it, but she almost passes out. And so Chloe and Redford start befriending one another, and they have an agreement and deal, and Chloe agrees to make a website for Redford for his business. But as time goes on, Chloe starts feeling stuff for Redford, and then hatred turns into like love. Like, I really do love this book. It is such a cheeky love, romance, enemies to lovers. I do implore you to read it. I was giggling. And also, my opinion, Chloe Brown is the best sister of the three sisters by Talia Hibbert. Number 23 is Yoke, and we follow two Korean American sisters who drifted apart but come back together when they figure out that June has cancer. And so they reconnect in New York City. And it is a very simple yet honest and raw conversation about leaving one another and feeling abandoned by your sibling and being hurt by that and having to reconcile those differences in a time when your sibling is dying. And it's so beautiful and heartbreaking. And this book does an honest conversation of what it really is like to have a sibling who you're estranged with and is dying, having to reconcile with the facts of having like certain feelings about them and how to handle and navigate that when they're also dying. Like, oh, it is so good. It is so beautiful and yet so heartbreaking. Please, if you haven't yet, please read Yoke. Number 24 is Cemetery Boys by Aiden Thomas. We follow a trans-Latinx teen named Yadrel who is struggling with his parents and his family to be accepted as the trans man that he is and trying to be the brujo, the witch of his family. And so he summons this bad boy named Julian to help him solve the murder of his cousin. But the more time he spends with Julian, the more time he doesn't want him to go away. And as they're navigating, finding out who killed his cousin and how did Julian die as well, certain feelings come up. And maybe he doesn't want Julian to go away at all. Maybe he wants Julian to be his lover. Number 25 is Her Radiance Curse. I said before, this is a prequel to the two books, The Six Crimson Cranes and The Dragon Promise. This one is a prequel. You can start off with this one if you want to. It follows Shiori's evil stepmother and what happened to her. Spoiler warning. Shiori's evil stepmother wasn't really evil and she was cursed with a snake head and her sister dies. But I can't spoil it no more. In this book, you find out why she was cursed, what happened to the sister, and what really did go on with them. And this legend, this myth of Shiori's evil stepmother fighting this evil witch tiger to the death, and what happened and how she got cursed with the snake face. It's such a beautiful book about belonging, about disability, about siblings, about sibling love and estrangement and sibling grief. I think these books are so beautiful. Again, the Six Crimson Cranes trilogy by Elizabeth Lim touches on grief and what you can do with that grief and how you can make something beautiful and how grief can bring us together in a beautiful way and not a sad way. And you can make something beautiful again with that grief. I think it's just so beautiful and a commentary about what grief can do to you. I love it. Elizabeth Lim, you ate that. Number 26 is A Bond Me for Two. Is a sapphic Yuri college love story with Vivi and Lan. Vivi is a Vietnamese American who doesn't know anything about her family other than the Vietnam War. Her parents never talk about it, so she goes behind her parents' back and says she's studying in other part in Asia, but she's actually going to Vietnam to uncover her family's secrets. And she loves this blog. And she goes and accidentally meets Vivi, who is the face behind this blog. But Vivi's also having her own internal problems, her queerness, also the death of her father, carrying the burden of being the only daughter and helping her mom and the shop, a banh mi stall that they run. Vivi wants to go away for college, but she's scared of leaving her mom alone after her father died and feels this pressure to take care of the family and run the family business and give up on her dreams of being a blogger or going to university and living for her own life. I think me being Mexican American and not feeling like, we're stuck between two worlds, but through the lens of Vivi, a Vietnamese American, I think it just is such a beautiful way, but also like unveiling the family trauma of why our parents had to flee our original country of origin because of colonialism, because of capitalism, because of destabilization. This book does a very special way of talking about these serious topics. And also Vivi about like feeling like you have to give up on your dreams to take care of your parents who are aging and having the fear of letting go because all you know. I love this book so much. It is beautiful, short, funny, and sweet. So please read A Banh Mi for Two. The last book is Dear Wendy. We meet two aromantic college girls at a women's university who have beef online. They run anonymous accounts called Dear Wanda and Dear Wendy, where you can ask them anything about life and they give you advice. But the problem is they hate each other. But during one day in a women's gender and history class, it talks about what's it like to be Asian American, what's it like to be a romantic, what's it like to be a woman in our society, what's it like to be in a women's university, and sometimes that's not even safe enough, and the challenges that they face being in that. And this book is such a cute, sapphic friendship novel. I just love it so much. It is messy, beautiful, and I love the conversation. I hope you enjoyed 27 books for 27 years of my life. I really did love this book and talk about it, but also look, my outfit so cute. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.